And if that happened when I had the tripod, the whole tripod would move. But this gadget keeps the phone just, it's a technology that keeps it stable. It stabilizes the movement so it won't be jerky. Afterwards, you tell me how the movement is. Well, tomorrow, God willing, we'll have a different way. So we're making a little bit of progress here. The border is put in for the next step for the concrete. This is an events platform here at on the lakeside here on the site. So we've had a lot of weddings and different receptions. So we need a nice space for people to gather. And then for the provisions of service and all the support. Okay, I have another little issue now for a sec. Great. Not a bad sunrise this morning, people, is it? That's the basic statement in when I was growing up about something that was good. You'd say it's not bad. And then if it was really good, you'd say it's not bad at all. And then if it was optimal, you know, hardly you could do it better, you'd say it's not bad at all at all. Hey, there's a bird just went in there. Let's see if we catch this bird. I don't mean catch physically, just catch him on the camera. Now you saw that bird moving there, but if I had the tripod in my head and did the little trip I did, you'd have been falling all over the place. But this gadget prevents that. It keeps the phone in a stable position. The sound is messed up. You can't hear me anymore? The video keeps stopping. I thought it just happened once when I changed the Wi-Fi. You can't hear me. Wow. The sound is good. Okay. Because if two people can hear me, then it's not my problem anymore if your sound is not good. I just have a little challenge getting the phone to stay in the one place. It's moving a little. It moves very easily on me here. So like that movement there happened against my will. Now lots of birds are coming around dancing. And so I have to learn how to control this. Okay, that's a little brusque. Very good, there we go. So let's keep going. We're not going to cover too much ground at this speed this morning, but that's okay. So thank you for teaming up here to little by little get the feel for this. So people, we have beautiful readings this morning. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. And in case there was any doubt about what the content here is, these lines follow yesterday's reading of the come on, little bee. Wow. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. And in case there was any doubt, these lines just come right after the Beatitudes. It's too hazy to show you up there where the Mount of Beatitudes is, but you know where it is, just north of us here. Oops. So there are two points here to make. Number one, what does it mean to be the light of the world and the salt of the earth? And the second question is, am I that? Blessed are the poor in spirit. You are the light of the world. So the poor in spirit are the light of the world. Blessed are the peacemakers. You are the light of the world. All these flowers are going to open up once the sun hits more clearly here. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. You know, it's great to talk about salt here in Magdala because here they were processing fish. And salt was a very big factor. So a lot of people knew about salt very powerfully here. They made their living probably providing the salt or working the salt or cleaning up from the salt, making containers for the salt. So salt was part of their daily bread. That's an interesting expression. Salt was part of their daily bread. Blessed are the meek, they shall possess the earth. You are the salt of the earth, meekness. You are the light of the world. A lot of darkness and a little bit of light, a small light makes a big difference in a world that's greedy, that's arrogant, that's attached to material things. And you are the light of the world. Oh, I must tell you a story. I think I told you once before. I'm not sure if I was getting my driving license or what it was. I was in some office in Jerusalem, and this was like 12 or 13, 14, almost maybe it could be even 14 years ago. I was pretty new here. And the girl then asked me about the payment at this desk, you know, behind glass and all the rest of it, you know. And she seemed to be a very reasonable person I could talk with, you know, that she wasn't like stiff, she was very natural. And so she said, are you going to pay by check? And I said, I don't have a checkbook. And then she said, well, are you going to... oh no, she said, first of all, you're going to pay by credit card. And I said, I don't have a credit card. And she looked at me like really surprised, you know. And then she said, well, you're going to pay by check. And I said, I don't have a checkbook. And she said, you're going to pay by cash. And I said, I don't own any cash. You know, there's some people you can push the boundaries a little bit, okay, in a conversation. So I just was on like a little roll there. And so I said to her, I don't have any cash, you know. She looked at me and said, well, I have money to pay. but I don't own anything. So I was just taking the opportunity to make a point, you know. I don't own anything. And this never happened to me before, okay? This never happened to me before. And right now I'm 47 years since I joined the seminary, you know, this year, 1974, after high school. So I said, you know, I have never received a penny since I joined the monastery. I don't own anything. Don't even own my shirt, but nobody wants to wear my stinky shirt. So she was stunned, and her reaction is what really, really, really amazed me. I'd never heard it before, never. And she looked at me with, like, she kind of, her shoulders dropped. She went into like total relax mode, and she said, with a smile on her face and light in her eyes, she said, "Oh, how free. How free." How free. And I was so pleased with this comment, because that's what it's about. Blessed are the poor in spirit. It means I'm not tied to material things. And you know what? Every single follower of Jesus can reach that point. And it's our calling. Some will struggle on one point or another point along the way, of course. I do too. But that's our calling. And even parents who have a bunch of kids, you know, and they could own a business, a small business, a shop, or, you know, be a plumber, or be an employee, a bus driver, whatever, and they have to provide for their families. So they need to work hard to make money, because their children need to be fed. They need to buy books for school. They need to buy new clothes, because the children go through clothes pretty fast, and they're growing, so the same size shoes won't work within less than a year. So they need to get money, but their hearts might be completely free. They might be completely detached from money and from material things and possessions. And there are a lot of people who follow Jesus, and they're like that. And the same thing, somebody might have a very irascible character, easily irritated, easily angry, just by the nature of things and their habits from childhood. But that person becoming a good disciple of Jesus can actually become a real meek person, a humble person. And this is the transformation that we have as we follow Jesus. And it's a work of grace. And just like the water shapes the shoreline here, so the waves of grace coming in to our lives can actually shape our lives, shape our hearts, shape our thoughts, shape our imagination, shape our feelings, shape our memories. We can be transformed by grace. When I looked out the window this morning as I woke up, and I saw all this black stuff, so I wonder where the sun will be, you know. But eventually the sun has come out. And you see, this gives very different contours to the sky when the sun is there, right behind those clouds. You are the light of the world. Many different contours happen, and also for the perception of others. They realize that there's a gift. They realize that you are blessed. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are you when you are persecuted. It's amazing. You remember those notes we were getting there in the time of ISIS, when little children were professing their faith with such valor at 5, 6, 7, 8 years of age, because they had such a gift of faith. Obviously, they must have had great support from their families, great instruction and care and love. But to see that flowering in the youngest hearts, because virtue is not tied to decades of years. Of course, we should be growing as we get older. It should be possible to grow, and with time. But it's alive. Virtue is alive. And these ways of life, to live poor in spirit, not the vice of avarice and greed and attachment to creatures. And this is a calling for all of us. And actually, everybody in heaven is going to be like that. And we could go into the area of pure of heart, the area of sexuality. You know, there will be a total transformation of our lives, because in heaven there is immaculate joy, immaculate delight. And some struggle with that one more than others. So it's not the issue as how much I struggle. In fact, the ones who struggle more will probably be more radiant in those virtues. But it's an incredible teamwork of grace and our will as well. It's a great combination. And even if there are very big dark spots in my past, in my memory, in my history, the grace is working. And I just have to want it. Now let's say I have a problem with the sexuality area. Well, then I have to stop taking pleasurable indulgence in things that are not for me. And that means in entertainment, it means in conversations, it means in my imagination, it means in my desires. You are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. And it's very important to engage in this conversation right now, because Jesus said if the salt loses its taste, what will make it salty again? And that's where, you know, where the rubber hits the road. And so that's a very big issue. The salt could lose its taste, and then it's useless and it's thrown out to be trampled underfoot. And sadly, we see even ordained people, not just baptized people, who are trampled underfoot because of losing the salt and the taste. And it's so sad. And even every day while we're still alive, even to our last breath, there's time for conversion and change. And God's mercy is always rich. But it needs our collaboration. So we can't indulge in things that are not according to God's will and be poor in spirit. Be pure of heart and mind and body and soul and imagination. We cannot be meek, be blessed are the meek, if we're always getting angry with people, if we can't, with God's grace, work to be transformed by grace. So the salt can lose its taste, and that's a very sad state of affairs, but we have the hope of being transformed. And that's what God wants to do, and that's why Jesus came on earth, and that's the gift of salvation. Being transformed by grace. Hey guys, thank you for your patience with my little gadget here this morning. But I'm looking forward to any comments you might make, any substantial comments of how the experience of the photography was. Leaving aside the question that it's vertical, so I should have had it in horizontal mode, but it went vertical and I wasn't able to change it. I would have had to stop the whole transmission and restart. So I have to learn to get that kink out of the system. But grateful for your patience. Somebody says here the video keeps stopping. Well, that's an old comment, I think, from a long time ago. Okay, it is, because there are a lot more comments below that. Okay, I wasn't watching the comments coming in right now. Okay, I see a ton of comments have come in, so thank you for all that. And just put in one or two technical comments. A few of you, if you see that another person has written them, you don't need to write the same thing again. Just put in what you see is needed to be pointed out. Did I get the message about the use of this thing? It's called an Osmo. And there are two ways to use it. One way is with the Osmo software itself, which I didn't use because I can't transmit from the Osmo software to Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to try the Instagram now. And the other way to use it is simply to use the apparatus as a balancing thing to stabilize the phone's jerkiness if I'm holding it directly in my hand or I'm walking with a tripod in my hand. So I hope that part improved today. People, it's a beautiful morning. We did see the sun. Right now it's hidden behind major clouds. So I think we'll call it a day, and thank you so much for joining today. And we'll try and do a little selfie bit here. There we go. God bless you. It's a beautiful morning here. It's very pleasant. Partly because of the cloud keeping the sun tamed. See you later, alligators.